What's up, Falcon family? Dirty Bird Nation, welcome to another episode of Atlanta Falcons Fandemic. The heartbeat of the Dirty Bird is faithful, where the fans never waver and the passion never dies. I'm your host, Manuel McFarland, coming to you once again live from Come On In Sports Network, where I can also be found with Falcon content on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. And a massive shout out to everyone who decided to join me today. Uh, it's an exciting time to be a Falcon fan, a lot to look forward to in this upcoming 2025 season. And right now, we got a lot to talk about. We really do have a lot to talk about. And today, we're focusing only on the most logical topic to talk about, and that's training camp 2025. The Atlanta Falcons are gearing up for the 2025 season, and training camp is officially here. And we're diving into the storylines that will define the 2025 season for Atlanta. This isn't just another training camp, guys. This training camp is a little bit different. It's a battle for the soul of the Atlanta Falcons roster for the future to come. 5 hungry rookies, including Jalen Walker, James Pierce Jr., are here to challenge the veterans and completely shake up the depth chart. The Atlanta Falcons 2025 season hangs in the balance as training camp kicks off with major questions at every position. All eyes are on Michael Pennix Jr. to see if he can finally become the franchise quarterback while a new class of rookies fight to prove they belong here. The entire Atlanta Falcons franchise is holding its breath as Michael Pennix Jr. enters the most important training camp yet. His performance in the coming weeks will either solidify him as the leader or open the door for a shocking quarterback controversy. Guys, I won't be able to make camp to this weekend. Have some things happening that I have to personally take care of. Is disappointing. I had every plan to attend, and hopefully I still might be able to make it. Hopefully, right now it's tentative. I wanted to take that time to reach out to connect with a lot of content creators, but life happens, right? Some things you got control over, and some things you don't. And this is one of the things that I don't potentially have control over. But anyway, the Falcons 2025 season, guys, is one that we have to look forward to, and is one that brings about an intriguing question. What will they look like in 2025 with all the new faces we got that we've brought in? We still have the nucleus, right, of last year's team. We still have that nucleus, which wasn't a bad team. Outside of bad coaching decision, suspect quarterback play, we just plain old got tired of down toward the end there, worn out. So what will we look like in the coming season? We got new coaches that have come in. We had some promotions that happened, internal promotions that happened. So even though we have a new look, the nucleus is still here. But we do have some very important additions that happen that will tentatively, change the outlook, the total outlook of how we look, especially on defense. Another question: can Michael Pennix take the reins from Kirk Cousins and lead this offense, lead the Atlanta Falcons through the playoffs? As a new hungry class of rookies fight to prove they belong and veterans fight to keep their jobs, which battles will shape this team's identity? Which battles are you looking for? Today, we're breaking down the top 4 storylines you will absolutely have to watch at Falcons training camp. And I chose to go with this one first, only because this situation has been around for a minute, and presumably the only solid, I'm not gonna say the only solid piece, but they have more experience playing with each other, and that's the offensive line. I mean, we're in a fine tuning stage of this rebuild, with the last move just being, a couple of turns of the wrench to lock this thing down. The quarterback position is set with Michael Pennix Jr. The offensive line is still intact from last season, minus a valuable Drew Dahlman, who found a home with the Chicago Bears. But filling in his spot is a very capable Ryan Newsill, who did a very nice job filling in for Dahlman when he was out on the IR. The other low-key storylines to watch for is the development of the offensive line depth, specifically Jack Nelson. The Falcons starting five is a rock-solid unit, one of the best in the league, but the team wanted to find some youth, and they did that by drafting Nelson, a 4-year starter from Wisconsin. He played all over the line, but is most comfortable at tackle. He was known for a mean streak in college, but he also drew a lot of flags. So he's seen as a developmental guy for the future. And I'm looking at maybe one full season, maybe another half a season, maybe even two before he even earns a starting spot, depending on what happens with Caleb McGarry and Jake Matthews. So Bergeron, Lindstrom, Newsill, these guys are pretty much set if they can stay healthy, right? And it seemed like going into this camp, it seemed like the new agenda really is to really keep everybody healthy, not happy, keep everybody healthy because of what has happened recently in the NFL. We've got so many people are hurting right now. I mean, not on our team, but from other teams. And I will be covering that in another video. So hopefully we don't get that injury bug coming into the camp. And that's one of the reasons why during the off season, I hate when guys like really vacation. I would rather see them get involved with activity that can keep them kind of keep that body warm, so to speak. And I know in their contract, there are certain activities that they can't take part of. But like when I played football, coach wanted us to do things in the off season. He didn't want us to just sit around. He didn't care what it was, whether it was baseball, basketball. He didn't care. He just stay warm and stay fit. And I think once you come back into training camp, like when we come back into spring training, that culture shock of the physical fitness is not a culture shock to your body. It's not going to send your body in, into shock. You know what I mean? Because you've been laying around, and that's what and another thing I hate about in the off season, that a lot of people have got into these calisthenics. That's not strength training. You really need to hit the weights. You really need to hit the weights. And that's one of the things that also you have to go to the gym, stay fit, keep your body warm, keep it ready. Calisthenics is good to tone your body. Everybody likes to look good with their shirt off, but if you're not strong enough for the upcoming season, you are susceptible to injuries. You're susceptible to not putting out your best. When it comes down to it. But but coming into camp, if you're not physically fit, and that's one of the things that I saw with Matthew Judon. He didn't come into camp in his best shape. And I hate to use him as an example, but it just stood out. And as the season went along, you can see him physically get tired. I mean, you can see him. It seems like he didn't have an answer, but you can see his body wasn't the same. He just looked sloppy, and it shows he was not working out. But anyway, I'm gonna get back to our offensive line. That's a whole different ball game. But who am I talking about? Jack Nelson. This guy's versatility up and down that offensive line. He plays guard on both sides. He plays tackle on both sides. And even had a stint where he had to even snap the ball, which I found crazy. But he's versatile. And when you watch the tape on this guy, his run blocking is like Chris Lindstrom, which is why I can't wait to see this guy get on the field and see what he can do. But his run blocking is like Chris Lindstrom. And if you guys have seen Chris Lindstrom do a run block, guys, it's beastly. It's beastly. And that's why he's considered one of the best in the league. So with his leadership on this front, on this offensive line, I think things will continue to improve. I think things will uh, actually catapult this offensive line into the top 10 this year. Yeah, and that's just my personal opinion. Uh, but Jack Nelson, I mean, outside of cleaning up his technique, which every rookie has, has that task of cleaning up things to, to make the adjustment to the NFL. But fans, as we go into training camp, we will be watching closely to see how the offensive line performs, specifically against the Tennessee Titans. They're tough. They're tough in the trenches, believe it or not, and we want to see what our number ones can do against Tennessee's number ones. And that practice will happen in August. The offensive line performance will be a key factor, believe it or not, in this season success. Uh, Last season it was not bad, but we're gonna have to really protect Michael Pennix. I'm not really concerned about that left side of the line, but that right side with Caleb McGarry and Lindstrom. I'm not worried about Lindstrom, but Caleb McGarry's suspect play after last season, and I hope he has improved. If not, we have to make the adjustment quick. We cannot afford to have Michael Penix taking hits from his blind side. That can be detrimental, as with any quarterback, but Michael Penix in particular, right? He's a left-handed quarterback, and things look kind of different when you have to look over your shoulder from the right side. So I'm not a left-handed person, so I never even tried to throw the football left-handed, but I can imagine it being kind of different. But the storyline, the number one storyline in camp will be the Michael Penix test. The single biggest storyline for the Falcons, not just for this season, but for the foreseeable future, is the development of Michael Pennix Jr. and how he establishes chemistry with his team, with his weapons. That's it. This is the team. This is his team now. So he has to do what it takes to get the chemistry developed on this team and do it fast. I think he's already did that. Him and Kyle Pitts last season, had a pretty good start, But after taking over for Kirk Cousins last season, Penix is heading into his first training camp as the unquestioned starter. We all saw the flashes. We saw that incredible arm talent he has. And yes, we saw some of the rookie moments you would expect. He did have some rookie moments, which, we called it. He's not going to come out there perfect. But the learning curve is very small right now. So, but I think he's just that quarterback to have the smarts, the poise. He'll have no problem making an adjustment. So the real question is, what does the next step look like? We know the arm is a no issue. The guy has raw talent to push the ball anywhere on the field. But being a franchise quarterback is about so much more. It's about the little things, processing defenses, moving through his reads, and showing total command at the line of scrimmage. It really is not so little as a quarterback. There's a lot involved. But that's what coaches and fans will be glued to this summer. How much he has grown after getting a taste of the NFL action last season and having a full off season to prep as that guy. The chemistry with his receivers is going to be under a microscope. Specifically, his connection with Drake London, it has to be on the money. In the final stretch of last season, London saw a ton of targets, showing that Penix isn't afraid to lean on his top guy. Penix wants to air it out, and to do that, he needs that almost telepathic connection with his receivers to really attack a defense deep. We need to see that chemistry blossom in camp. Not so much as to rush it, but we need to see the mechanics of it. You know what I mean? So and really work on it. You know what I mean? I don't care if you have to do it like we have to shoot free throws. Most people have to shoot 1,000 free throws and hit 1,000 free throws before they call it the day. I don't care if they have to run that play 1,000 times. They have to do what it takes to get that chemistry established. You know, Pennix has to learn Drake London's tendencies, learn Kyle Pitts' tendencies. Do he like to go 5, maybe 6, maybe 7 yards as opposed to going 8, 9? You know, so that chemistry has to be built between that quarterback and receiver. And he has a lot of receivers that he has to get used to. We have quite a few receivers in camp. You know, Casey Washington, I can't wait to see what he does this year. Raymond McLeod is in there. Darnell Mooney's in there. Nick Nash. I can't wait to see what he does on the field. So it's going to be immense, guys. The pressure is going to be immense. And there's a reason the team is putting all this chips on him, on Michael Pennix. The belief inside the building is palatable, with championship aspirations being tied to his development. The bottom line is simple. Pennix just can't be a game manager. He needs to show he's the leader who can elevate his entire offense and put the team on his back. Head coach Raheem Morris has emphasized the need for his quarterback to play with a certain level of swagger. And he can do that. This camp is Pennix's chance to prove he's ready to take that leap. Number 2 storyline, the edge rusher revolution. Okay, that's storyline number 1, but it's a monster. But this next one is just as critical to the Falcons' success: the immediate impact of the rookie edge rushers. For what feels like an eternity, Falcon fans have been begging for a pass rush. The team finished 31st in the league in sacks last season, a number that just won't cut it if you want to be a serious contender or for someone to take you seriously. Any team to take you seriously. So what did the front office do? They went all in. They used their first-round pick, number 15 overall, on Georgia's Jalen Walker, and that didn't stop there. In a stunning move, they traded a future first-round pick to jump back into the first round and snag Tennessee's James Pierce Jr. at number 26. You don't make a trade that aggressive, giving up that kind of draft capital for a guy you plan to stick on the bench. You know, that guy screams win now. Like you said, you don't make that type of move to have somebody sit on the bench. He's destined to start. He's destined to take that learning curve and leaps and bounds over it and be ready day one. There's not his development stage is training camp. There's not going to be no situational plays where he come in and fill in. He's day one, and I think he can handle it, and he's going to be expected to handle it. The expectation for these two are sky high. The plan for Walker, despite playing some off-ball linebacker at Georgia, is to have him master playing on the edge in year one. Defensive coordinator Jeff Albrecht wants him focused on one thing: getting to the quarterback. Veteran teammates have already noticed his explosive first step. Then you have James Pierce Jr., a player who is the definition of elite athleticism, backed up by a blazing 4.47 second speed 40-yard dash at the combine. And once again, everybody knows I am not a fan of the 40-yard dash. It's good to see the numbers. It's good to test that speed, but I want the football smarts and I want the football speed. But James Pierce Jr. is a premier talent at a premium position, but there are questions. In college, he sometimes struggles to generate the same heat against top-tier offensive lines. The Falcons are betting big that their system, alongside veteran Leonard Floyd and fellow rookie Walker, is the perfect environment for him to thrive. The pressure is on both of these rookies to produce from day one. This isn't about developing for the future. It's about transforming the defense immediately. By the way, if you're enjoying this breakdown, guys, please, if you want to stay updated on everything Falcons training camp, Falcons 2025 season, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button. We'll be covering all these storylines and more as the preseason gets closer. So join the community. Let me know in the comments which storyline and camp battle you're watching most closely. All right. and I do appreciate it. Storyline number 3, the secondary shakeup. Moving to the back end of the defense, our third major storyline, the total shakeup in the secondary, especially at safety and nickel corner. This was a unit that lacked consistency last season, and the front office got aggressive in the draft to fix it. Now we got some of the most interesting position battles in camp. And it all starts at safety right. Let's see. Jesse Bates, last year's starter. No, not Richie Grant. Richie Grant's not here anymore, is he? Y'all drop a comment. I'm about to research. I don't know. I don't think he's not here anymore. But with him not being here, that means the door is wide open for that strong safety, right? Door's wide open. So the Falcons used a 3rd-round pick on Notre Dame's Xavier Watts, a player with elite ball skills who many believe has an inside track to the starting job. His main competition comes from Jordan Fuller, a smart veteran who played for Raheem Morris in Los Angeles and provides a steady hand. Fuller might start the season to let Watts get his feet wet, but the feeling is that job will belong to Watts sooner than later. The question is if he'll start, but when. It's not if he's going to start, but when. I think he's going to start day one. I really do. I think Fuller's just going to be that second experienced veteran that will help break him in, along with Jesse Bates. I think Xavier is going to probably be a top 10 safety in the league sooner than later. But the competition doesn't end there. The Falcons doubled down at safety, drafting Oklahoma's Billy Bowman Jr. in the 4th round. Bowman is a different breed, a bit undersized, but incredibly fast and feisty. While Watts is the ragged, patient safety, Bowman is an instinctive playmaker who isn't afraid to take a chance. And that actually taking chances came back to bite him a few times last year, but he still produced the numbers. He still was very, very productive. So, but that's one of the things that he'll learn going on in the season, when and when not to take those chances. But his clearest path to the field, however, might be at starting nickel corner. The incumbent D. Alford had an up and down season and will have to fight for his job. I didn't understand D. Alford is athletic. He's very athletic, but I did not understand the Falcons re-signing him. If I had to pick somebody in the secondary that I, will have to second guess signing, it would have been him. But we brought him back. He had some very good shining moments last year, but there were times where he just seemed like he was lost. I don't know if that was coupled with, him actually being lost or lack of confident coaching or play calling. But he, like I said, he's going to have to fight for his job this year. But Bowman's short area quickness makes him a natural fit to cover shifty slot receivers. He's shaping up to be a 3-way fight between Alford, Bowman, and Clark Phillips III. Actually, Clark Phillips III is one of my personal favorites. I'm hoping that if Bowman doesn't get it, hopefully it'll be Clark Phillips. But, competition is fierce in camp. But they say Bowman is the favorite. And that says a lot for a guy who hasn't even padded up yet. But the goal is clear. Having that much competition, the goal is very clear. Get faster and more dynamic on defense. And that's through the total defense, not just that secondary. Get faster and more dynamic. And also, of course, improve tackling. But the number 4 storyline, the underrated battles. Not a lot of people don't think this is a battle, but Kyle Pitts is in a 3-way battle for his position as well for a contract extension. But when I say 3-way, Pitts is in a competition with Charlie Warner, and if used correctly, can be one of the most dominant tight ends we've ever seen here in Atlanta. Then there's the sleeper we picked up via undrafted free agency, and that's tight end Joshua Simon out of South Carolina, who I personally love. And then finally, We recently acquired veteran tight end Tegan Torrentino from the Texans, who's very solid. He's very solid. I'm actually pegging him as a starter and moving Pitts over into the slot. I would honestly like to see that happen. Moving Pitts over into the slot and starting in passing situations anyway, Tegan. And Charlie Warner is no slouch himself. I actually love Charlie Warner for what the work that he's did over in San Fran, guys. I don't understand why we don't use him more. He's one heck of a blocker. And his hands are just as good. He's not one of these guys that drop balls. If it's thrown in his vicinity, he's going to get it. We have 3 of the best tight end packages in this package. I think it's the best core in the NFL, hands down. But talk about playing toward Pennix's strength, providing him with yet another offensive weapon. And where this tight end position is going to help out at is in third down situations. And not only third down situations, but red zone scoring. We're going to be able to give defenses so many different looks with different personnels and different lineups. And when I say different lineups, I mean we'll be able to show them how we're lining up. And they may be thinking we're running one play, but we'll be actually running another. So this is going to be interesting this year, guys. This tight end group is so talented, and I like every last one of them. But Pitts gonna have to step up. Now I say he was in a 3-way tie. I'm in a 3-way battle. It's actually 4 because Pitts is actually in a battle with himself. Is he going to be able to be mentally tough to be able to withstand this competition? Because Tegan is a very good receiver. He's very good with yards after the catch, and he is so very hard to get to the ground. Now, Pitts started out like that until he got hurt. But Tegan is one load to bring down, guys. It's not a one man that's bringing him down. But guys, this like I said, the tight end room is real tough. It's not just the tight end room; it's across the board with Atlanta. Competition is everywhere. But finally, guys, let's touch on a couple of under the radar competition that could have a much bigger impact than you think. First up, we have a legitimate kicker battle. Younghoe Koo, a fan favorite, is coming off the worst season of his career, hitting only 73.5% of his field goals and ending the year on injured reserve. In response, the Falcons signed German kicker Lenny Craig to a 3-year deal with guaranteed money. And that's not a camp leg guy. That's a real competition. Craig has never kicked in an NFL game, but he was perfect at the combine. A kicker making over $4 million like Koo can't afford another shaky year, especially with a young, powerful leg like Craig in the building. The other low-key storyline to watch is the development of the offensive line depth. We spoke on it earlier, and that's Jack Nelson. Like I said, the first 5 is solid. It's very solid. But that underrated line that a lot of people are not talking about, and I think they're not talking about it because the line has experience together, and because we didn't bring in a whole lot of new bodies to compete on the offensive line. Now, what we did do, what I find, I'm not going to say impressive, but what I found to be smart was that Atlanta went in and brought in guys that were already familiar with the Atlanta blocking culture. Guys who've been here before, whether it be in training camp, whether it be game day, or even practice squad, guys who are already here and already know the system. So these are guys that they signed to these what they call them future contract type deals. And No, they didn't. We didn't get any undrafted free agency, but like I said, it's like 5 or 6 other linemen that and I didn't make a list. I do apologize for that, but we do have like 5 or 6 other guys who are very familiar with the Atlanta blocking, and they're in camp as well. So our big check off on this to-do list is to keep everybody healthy. We can't afford the injuries. However, if we do sustain any injuries, we do have capable people in the wing. Next man up. Very capable. But we want to survive camp with as less injuries as possible. No distractions, no hiccups. That's the game plan. We know things go by the wayside, right? So things happen. But anyway, so guys, there you have it. The fate of the Falcons 2025 season really does feel like it rests on these training camp battles and the storylines. It all starts with Michael Pennix Jr. and whether he can grab the franchise quarterback mantle. Then you have the rookie pass rushers, Walker and Pierce, who are being asked to fix a decade-long problem overnight. And it's not going to be fixed overnight. That's, like I said, it's a learning curve. But these two right here, and me personally, if I am the defensive coordinator, I'm playing Walker at linebacker, and right in front of him, James Pierce Jr. You talk about speed. I mean, it's an experiment. I mean, but that's what camp is for. The secondary in the middle of youth movement with Watts and Bowman ready to step into huge roles, and don't sleep on those quiet kicker battles and the O-line that could be the difference in a few close games. It's a pivotal moment for this franchise, and the answers are coming soon. And I didn't mention when I talked about the secondary, Kobe Bryant, who I think is a serious, underrated cornerback, and he could make that quarterback room very competitive. I'm sure he will. Natron Mean is in there as well, and I didn't mention him either. But remember, Natron Mean was that guy he's a small corner, but hits like no other. But so like I said, it's going to be very competitive. But guys, what are your predictions? Who wins these position battles? Drop them down in the comments. Let me know. Cornerback, safety, kicker. Who wins these battles? Who would you like to see start as opposed to who's presumably inked in? All right. But guys, thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I look forward to linking up with you guys at camp. Hopefully, like I said, I won't be able to make it. Presumably, I won't be able to make it. But if all things fall in place like I hope, I get everything done, I should be able to make it there. But guys, until we get to see each other again, like I said, in camp or otherwise, continue to rise up. We'll see you in the Super Bowl. Peace. All right, Fandemic family, that's a wrap for this episode. Thank you all so much for tuning in and sharing your passion for our Atlanta Falcons with us. Your energy and support are what make this community truly special. If you've enjoyed this video, please give it a 2 thumbs up, leave a comment below with your thoughts, and of course, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any of our exciting content. And seriously, don't forget to hit that notification bell right next to that subscribe button so that you'll be the first to know when we drop new videos about our beloved Dirty Birds. And as always, continue to rise up, and we'll see you in the Super Bowl.